welcome to CCTV News. Today, we have a rather special case, you could say. Today, we will be speaking about a movement that just began. You probably already know about it. All the rallies going on around Vancouver. Yes, animal rights. It's come to my knowledge that animals are not treated fairly in Canada. Why is this? What do animal activists have to say about this?
Is it really that bad? Or are they exaggerating? It's a problem that's been ongoing for many years. But most people ignore it. Why is that? Are they just not that important? Or maybe people just think the same way I did just a couple of days ago. They're just animals.
They're just animals. That's the way I thought just days ago. But things have changed. People are speaking up regarding this issue. Next up, stay tuned, because we're going to introduce two animal activists who have something to say about it. Let's begin with you, Mark. Mark, what do you have to say?
Yeah, thank you very much, Stephen. It's funny because people cluster the streets, defending human rights, ask the government to change the laws, and sometimes they manage to, but there are still flaws in the system. And now it's really come like pretty real right now, how animal rights are being ignored by many. Like, imagine if the human rights have flaws, imagine the animal rights, which everyone ignores, nobody cares about. It's come to our attention, us animal activists, that people just don't care. And if people don't care and the government doesn't care, it's only us against the world. And it's becoming quite hard.
Yeah, Mike, but don't animals have their own section in the Charter of Rights? I believe it's section 444 to 447. I believe they also have fundamental rights, just as us humans.
Yes, indeed, Michael. Animals, just as humans, have fundamental rights protecting them against these acts. But it's different. There's a difference between having them and following them. Most people don't follow them, and the law enforcers just don't enforce this particular laws. Besides, the section about animals, if I remember correctly, is pretty small. There's only around 5 sections in the whole Charter of Rights dedicated to the rights of animals, and they're not enough. They only say there are limits of cruelty against animals, the way you kill them, that you can't starve an animal, or that you can't have chicken fights in the backyard. That's something that all countries have. But what about the rest of the rights? No killing for sports, for example. It's come to my knowledge that there's people killing bears for sports. Did you know this?
No, Mike, I actually did not know this. But I just can't believe it. Do they actually?
Yeah, hunters kill bears. That's not something new. We all knew about that. But what most people don't know is why they kill them and how many they kill. You know that nearly 87% of grizzly bears deaths in BC are because of hunters? But do you know why they do this? Only to get a trophy, to be the, oh, you know what, I killed a bear. I hunted the best bear. It's amazing how society still thinks that that's important. Like just killing a bear for sport, for fun, just to say, oh, you know what, I killed a bear. There's a total of 12,026 bears that were killed by hunters alone in this province since 1975. Now, I know those are a lot of years, but aren't they a lot of bears too? 12,000 bears. And it just keeps going up. It's not going down.
Wow. I mean, yeah, the ignorance in this country is clearly I don't know, obvious. But I'm just impressed I hadn't seen it before. How has this come under our noses? People killing bears for sport. Ignorance, total ignorance.
Yeah, total ignorance, of course. In fact, there's this quote I like from Anthony Douglas. I don't know if you knew him. He was a pretty famous writer for the Times of India and many other Canadian famous companies. He said, "When humans act with cruelty, we characterize them as animals. Yet, the only animal that displays cruelty is humanity." And this is true. It's the saddest part of it all. It's true. We people just don't care about animals anymore, and it's become clear in the past few years.
Yeah, totally. Horrible. And I just wonder, Mark, have you heard? I've heard this rumor that Canada was just last year one of the biggest importers and exporters of shark fins in the market. Is that true?
Yeah, it's actually pretty bad. I've heard about it. How Canada has been the biggest importer in international trade of shark fins, right after Asia. It was incredible, and the most incredible part is that it just barely stopped like a year ago. It just shows how our justice system for animals is terrible. Almost no laws, and just people don't care. Politicians don't care. Just what I said before.
What a tragedy, Mark. What a tragedy. Well, thank you very much, Mark. Thanks for your time, and I hope I'll see you soon.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely no problem. Thanks for having me today.
In our news about animal rights, it's come to my knowledge, something I didn't know before, that a year ago, in a famous aquarium named Maryland, known by many, apparently two trainers had an debate with the owner of the aquarium regarding the some health issues with the killer whales in the aquarium, saying that they were bleeding and that they were sick and that they didn't do anything about it. This just proves more what Mark was trying to say. Following, who will have yet another animal activist. Andrew, please explain.
Hey there, thank you Mark and good afternoon everyone. So animal rights in Canada appear to be centuries old. They are very conservative and progress has not been seen in decades. There appears to seem no limits onto how cruel one can be with animals in this nation. Different animals are constantly transported under very harsh conditions for thousands of miles and kilometers with insufficient water, insufficient food and very poor shelter. I have been working for diverse organizations in an attempt to change the current situation in Canada and have a good impact in wildlife and animal rights in our nation. One specific organization concentrates on the creation and enforcement of cattle rights. Rights for farm animals in Canada are outdated and substandard. Compared to the rest of the world, Canadian federal laws for animals are way below the global standards. Our country actually ranks amongst the worst in the Western world when it comes to animal rights. Unfortunately, due to the lack of progress concerning this issue, the image of our legal system and its action on animal rights has been truly damaged, and we are nowhere near expectations. Hopefully, together, we can work as a nation to change this image and impact the world. Anyways, thank you for your time. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Andrew. So it's not only in aquariums or in hunter rallies, it's in transportation too. It seems that animals are treated badly everywhere. I bet if I just Google search something like, oh, what's going on with animal rights, thousands of things would appear. But well, enough with animal rights for today. Next up, if you stay tuned, we will talk about the accident that happened weeks ago in the Highway 3175, and not only that, but the problem with the whales in BC. Stay tuned.